What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Life and Suffering of Sir Brante, episode number 9 with me, GamerKnoob. We're just getting out of the youth chapter. Let's see what life has in store for us from now on out. Here on out. Sorry, this video is going to be a little bit late. I have been having to help my girlfriend the past couple of days get ready for her trip this week.
A full adult now, I returned from the capital a changed man. Yet, my hometown was not the same as I had left it. Fate had difficult times in store for all of us.
Oh dear. But yeah, I've been having to help her for that, so that's done now. Now I can record while she's gone. But yeah, sorry it's late today. It won't be late tomorrow, I hope. Unless something happens. A note from underground. The carriage makes its way along the road. You see the land of Magro through the window, empty and desiccated by ancient magic. Your home, Anazot, is but a few hours along this road. The carriage is stuffy and hot from the sun, even with the thick blinds pulled tight. It is a familiar heat, but you will now need to get used to it again. The heat weighs heavily on you, but it also reminds you of your childhood. You will see your family again soon. How will they react to you? Will they accept you after you betrayed their hopes and their trust? You are back in your native province. You will be home soon, but you are no longer the boy who took this very road to the capital 4 years ago. But who are you now? A clandestine outlaw? A rebel? Or an agent of the secret chancellery? Well, a future awaits you now. Can you get your freedom back? Can you save everything you hold dear? To drive away the worries about your new life and new destiny, you reread Sophia's letter yet again. I'm glad you didn't do anything stupid and choose to seize your chance for freedom, Brante. I'll go to Anazot a week after you. Both of us coming back at the same time might attract unwanted attention. It's best if nobody even knows we have anything to do with each other. I'll find an excuse for our frequent meetings later. You should go home and reconnect with your family. Don't draw any attention, keep your head down. Don't leave that old house of yours. When the time comes, I'll find you. Tell everyone you're planning to open a print shop. Find a building to rent for it. Someplace far from prying eyes. It'll be our underground headquarters. I'll tell you more about our mission when we meet. That's all. You put the letter back in your pocket. The walls of Anazot have finally emerged on the horizon. Before you do anything else, you are going home. Oh great, we get to see the extremely happy family. It'll be so nice. The most important event that will end this chapter. The most important event that will end this chapter. Only one of them will happen. Glory to the Empire, the Free City, Master of Anazot, the Last Straw's Riot, Farewell Advisor, Free Man, or True Death. Ho ho ho. We can also be ennobled by the Sword, favored by the Overseer, heir of the family, or the family falls apart. Become, for the Brante family, a family of means, Mother recovers, Gloria Brante, branded by dishonor, the family at peace, the family in ruins, or a glorious bloodline. Deeds that we can accomplish on our chosen path: a profitable business, a stockpile of arms. Sophia has the gunpowder and stash of the gunpowder. Occupation screen is now available. Okay, let's see this. Unrest is how our thing is going, and spy network. We have infiltration. Okay, cool. Go back now. Let's continue. This seems like it's going to be an interesting chapter for sure. Very long chapter, the longest one we've had yet. So prepare for many years and a lot of reading from me. This might not all be done in one sitting, unlike the last ones. The carriage stops. The familiar gate. Your bedroom window. The same one you used to climb out of at night from time to time. The well-tended garden with its imported soil, delightful greenery, and Mother's beloved violet irises. The porch you used to jump off when you were little. You are home. You touch the handle of the front door and halt for a moment. It has been 4 years since you left for Eterna, but it feels like yesterday. The air inside is cool as usual. Father cannot stand a stuffy room and insists on constantly airing out the house. Inside the house, the first thing you hear is the sound of someone running out of the library. Your sister Gloria appears and immediately throws her arms around you. Her joy is so strong you barely manage to stay on your feet. Gloria is dressed in men's clothing, including cutlets, a frock coat, and a necktie with a massive pin. She's almost unrecognizable in her new attire. There are dark circles under her eyes, as though from a lack of sleep or frequent tears. Brother, I've been waiting for you for so long. I'm proud to see you've chosen your own path and decided to live the way you want. You're actually going to open your own print shop? You're going to print books, even poetry? Speaking of poetry, From the inner pocket of your jacket, you produce a small book bound in black, soft leather. Gloria gingerly accepts your gift. She notices the author's name, Char Melanides, on the cover and knits her brow, but after quickly flipping through the pages, she showers you with gratitude. I thought Melanides was just a warlock. I had no idea he wrote poetry. How fascinating. I'm going to read it all from cover to cover. Mother comes out of the sitting room, leaning on Nathan's arm. You immediately see signs of illness mentioned in the letters from home. Her back is bent, her hair is gray, a thin web of wrinkles covers her face, and her complexion has lost its color. She slowly embraces you. Her arms feel nearly weightless. You press your face into her shoulder, breathing in the nearly forgotten, dearly beloved smell. Mother holds you by the shoulders and studies you for a long time. You've been gone away so long, son. It's such a shame your journey was in vain. You didn't become a judge or even a priest. I guess it's your fate to bear your lot until the very end, but you'll endure it. It's how I raised you. Nathan approaches you after Mother. Your younger brother is the same height as you now. His hair almost reaches his shoulders, but he still has that same lost look in his eye he had when he was a boy. It's good to see you, brother. Home just hasn't been the same without you. Who cared about your estate, right? I'm just glad you're here with us again. You pat Nathan on the back. Loud footsteps echo down the stairs. Stefan appears. His shoulders have grown broader, and his features have become harsher, just like grandfather's. He stares you and Nathan down with contempt, his arms crossed on his chest. Welcome back, commoner. I'd hoped you'd become my equal, but apparently you just didn't have it in you. I guess you're no better than Nathan. Can only hope you'll know your place from now on, and why did Father ever send you to the capital in the first place? As Stefan says these words, you see Father appear from his study. He looks older now. His back is hunched and he squints. There are deep lines around his mouth and silver threads in his dark hair and mustache. He stops a few steps away and examines you from head to toe. He does not say a word, slowly shaking his head. You explain yourself to Father. This was not the only path you could have taken. The college and the judge's calling were not for you. However, your time in the capital was not spent in vain. You made many influential friends there, and now you plan to open a print shop in Anazat and make a good living. You do your very best to make this sound convincing. No one can ever see through your cover story. When I sent my son to the capital, I expected him to return a nobleman, but the man who stands before me is a commoner, a merchant, an artisan. I had such high hopes for you, but our family's future rests in Stefan's hands now. Oh well, I've had enough time to make my peace with this. You're still a member of this family. We'll see how your shop fares. Perhaps you can still find a way to contribute to the Brante household. He lets out a bitter chuckle, and then after a pause, Father spreads his arms wide to embrace you. You're finally home, my son. Well then, time for dinner. Your mother has prepared a veritable feast in your honor. For the first time in years, your entire family shares a meal at the same table. We got to see how Mom's doing. Cautiously asked Mother about her health over dinner. Oh, it's nothing, noob. I have no complaints. I've just been a little weak lately. It happens at my age. I humbly accept whatever fate the twins have chosen for me. Having said this, she stops abruptly and looks upward. Father cuts in. You know, son, you should tell us about your life in the capital. What gave you the idea to open a print shop? You mentioned in one of your letters that you've seen the imperial family with your own eyes. What are the Tempests like? You have to relate the 4 years you spent in Eterna, carefully omitting anything that might reveal your secret. Only later that night, while you're talking to Nathan on the back porch, do you learn more about Mother's health. I'll be frank with you, Mother isn't doing so well. Gloria and I do our best not to leave her alone. You can ask her questions, but her answers often don't make sense and she keeps falling silent in the middle of a conversation, like she did today. Her illness is consuming her. You know, if Mother passes, she may not be reborn. I dread to think what will happen to Father then, and of Gloria. Gloria's had it hard too lately. Stefan has treated her like dirt for the last year. I think he plans to drive her out of the house so her origins won't taint the Brante reputation anymore. Stefan only cares about one thing now, getting our family ennobled by the sword. So for him, Gloria is just an obstacle between him and his goal. You spend quite some time in silence gazing at the radiant stripe of the shining pillar, as it grows more and more luminous against the darkening sky. The Brante family is about to face some challenging times ahead. First steps. After several days of searching and inquiring, you find a suitable location for the print shop. You choose a 2-story building on a dead-end street away from any pedestrian thoroughfares right next to the city's outer wall, spacious and sturdy. It has more than enough space for the printing press and workbenches. The basement is dry and the windows are too tiny to peek through. It's the perfect location for a clandestine headquarters. You inspect the room. This corner will be good for typesetting area, and the shelves of ink can go over there. Before you finish, Sophia knocks at the door. Once inside, she casts a glance over the rooms and walls and chuckles with approval. This is just what we need, Brante, a perfect location. Couldn't have found anything better myself, because the capital taught you well. I'm glad to see I was right about you. This job will be a lot easier with your help. Sophia brushes a layer of dust from an old wooden crate, then lights her pipe as she sits. So, how about I tell you what you and I are up to in this town, eh? Remember what we did in the capital? We're going to do the same trick here in Anzanot. That's our mission. Philippe wants us to found an underground society here. Anybody who wants to rebel and riot, we'll let them join. We'll also keep them in check and use them to do whatever the secret chancellery says. I still don't know everything Philippe's planning yet, but I can tell you he was real angry about how the Inquisition cast all the dirt we dug up on Patriarch Junius to the four winds. Here in Anazot, Philippe wants the real deal. You frown. The real deal. What is that supposed to mean? It means you and I have to find all the troublemakers in town and take charge of them. Anybody who's willing to fight for their rights, we turn them into an organized force under our command, and then we'll use them to do whatever Philippe wants. Philippe wants to take the city into his own hands. He needs a little disorder, little disturbances and riots, enough unrest so that there's always an excuse to arrest folks whenever they need to. But Philippe always has to be in control. This is the secret chancellery's way. As long as the streets are restless, everybody, especially the overseer, will keep thinking good old Sir Philippe El Ferro is a real useful friend to have, savior of the Empire and all that, their last bulwark against the rabble-rousers. The more riots and unrest we incite, the stronger our underground force will become, and the stronger the secret chancellery will get. Once the people are shouting in the squares, the prefecture and the magistrate will be powerless, and our buddy Philippe will pick up the slack. You following so far? You nod. And you are supposed to incite unrest. Is that all you have to do? That's just the beginning. Philippe also wants the Lesser Quorum broken up at some point in the future. It's full of folk who don't like the way things are done in the Empire. But the Empire's lucky for now. The Lesser Quorum spends too much time bickering and not enough time trying to work together. That'll work in our favor. So by the time Philippe wants to blackmail the Little Sir Quorum, we need to have our own underground network, and it's got to be big enough for his needs. We'll frame Quorum members, gather accusations, plant agents, stuff like that. In other words, we'll do the secret chancellery's dirty work for them. Now, let's get down to business. To defeat the Huns. Here in Anazot, there are some big shots who are opposing the Imperial Order. We need to do our best to exploit them for our cause. If we're lucky enough, maybe we can even get them on our side. Sophia starts counting on her fingers. Number 1 on my list is Augustin Elborn, Prefect of Magra. He's almost a relative to you, isn't he? When Gaius Tempus was first appointed Overseer of Magra, he was the only member of the Provincial Council who openly supported him. Elborn is one of the most powerful nobles in Magra, but he has always protected the common folk. He could be our main ally, or a real dangerous enemy. The second fellow worth mentioning is Mayor Egmont, leader of the wealthy commoners in the Lesser Quorum. He's an old merchant who got rich mining silver and managed to weasel his way into provincial politics as a commoner. We need to ensure Egmont's support as soon as possible. He's rich and powerful and will be useful to our cause. Last on my list is Father Leonard. He's the abbot of the Temple of the Silver Tree and the local spiritual leader of the New Believers. Right now, lots of Magran commoners are rejecting Asasius' teachings of the lot. It's all thanks to Leonard and his influence. If those folks have managed to cast off one burden, it should be easy to talk them into rejecting another one. Sophia taps her pipe against the crate, knocking the remaining tobacco onto the floor. One more thing, Brante. We're going to be manipulating people. I'm talking lies, half-truths, using the exploiting folks, you name it. And we need to get them to follow us. That's a tough thing to do. People can smell phonies a mile away, so we have to believe everything we say. I mean, really believe it from the bottom of our hearts. If you aren't ready to die for your cause, why expect it from other folks? We also have to remember who we're really doing all this for. She trails off. You wait a moment, then ask Sophia why she had agreed to do this. Why is she working for Philippe? Can't she run from him, or use her magic to subdue him? Sophia's deep eyes focus all their attention on you. The merciless Magran sun fills the room. Through the narrow window reflected in her eyes, a multitude of yellow sparks. You think I never tried it, Brante? Don't be naive. Magic will not help me bring down Philippe. When I use my power, you notice it quickly, and Philippe notices it even faster. If I try to enchant him ever again, I'll be collared and sent back to the House of Humility. I'm never going back there again. Not ever. As for escaping, there's no hiding from the secret chancellery. Sooner or later, they will find me. The Empire is absolute. The Empire is eternal. The Empire is everywhere. We're all in the same cage. There's no way out of it, and so it will be as long as the Empire stands still. So forget about running away. If you want to get out of this alive, just do what I tell you. Trust me, and I'll take care of it. Now, let's talk about your next step. We don't need to shore up our cover story. We need to shore up our cover story, make sure it doesn't fall apart the first time gendarmes take a look at it. Get this print shop to work. You need employees. You're good at picking the right people, just as good as me, so you'll do the hiring. Choose people who are loyal, people who do the job and keep their mouths shut. When Philippe gets here, we'll have to show him what you've accomplished so far, and you don't want to disappoint him. So you better get cracking. We've got a lot of work to do. With that, Sophia nods to you and leaves. You are left alone to pace the room of your future print shop and think. What will you do first? We could hire rebels. I don't think we're gonna hire spies, moles, and crooks. I don't think that's what we're gonna do. It is tempting, but I don't think we're gonna do it. We might commit to. I think we're gonna commit to the printing press. I think this is what we're gonna do. Yeah, I like it. The undercover part of your job can wait. You have to get the print shop up and running first. You will not be satisfied by a mere semblance of a business. No, you are going to found a successful shop capable of turning a profit. You convince father to contribute a portion of the family's funds to the venture and purchase a printing press, movable type, quality paper, and expensive ink. Then you hire skilled labor, the best printers you can find in Anzot. They will teach you the future resistance members, whom you will hire later. It is such a pleasure to watch the print shop come to life. You may have begun this undertaking for an entirely different cause, but now you have turned the print shop into something that is yours. The first thing you print is the thick stack of advertising sheets. Soon these black and red leaflets appear on every street corner of Anazot. Brante's print shop is opened for business. We have moderate means, so that's okay. I'm trying to... I figured if I put money into the print shop, it'll be better for my family later, and I don't want my family to suffer. So I'm trying to, like... change my lot in life, but also like make my family, like change my lot and everybody's lot in life, not work for the Secret Chancellery, but also make my family live and prosper as well. We'll see if we can do that. I don't know if we'll be able to do everything. You started your service for the Secret Chancellery by opening a print shop as cover. Yes, we did. Profitable business. Thanks to your investment, the print shop becomes much more believable as a front for your underground operations and may actually turn a profit sooner or later. Well, that's good. Always like having profitable businesses. A reception at the Brante residence. You come back home after a short stroll through the city. As soon as you set foot into the house, you are greeted by Stefan, who invites you to have a talk in Father's office. When you enter the front room, Father has a heap of letters in front of him and is signing them one after another. Son, Stefan and I must discuss an important matter with you. While you were in the capital, our family formally petitioned the overseer to grant us the nobility of the sword. We have 3 generations of noble blood already. We have the right to make our nobility hereditary. Your father took the first steps towards the nobility of the sword as soon as Stefan was born, and now we are on the brink of becoming the Brantes. As Overseer Gaius Tempest and the nobles of the province deem us worthy, we will receive a hereditary title. All nobles of the Brante family will remain noble forever, as will their descendants. Father and I do our utmost to maintain the family's position, but our goal can be reached only if our reputation remains unblemished in the eyes of high society, the nobility watching our every step. Father lays a hand on your shoulder. Now this is your cause too. The future of our family depends on it. We need an estimable reputation and wealth. Everyone bearing the name of Brante affects it. Remember that with every action you take, Noob. You'll have to appear before Anazot High Society. We're going to host a reception for the nobility at our home soon. You must uphold the honor of our family, brother. You'll relate the news from Eterna to our guests to present yourself in favorable light. With Stefan at the helm, the entire family spent a full week preparing for the majestic reception. The house is flooded with decorations. The new tableware delicacies are cooking in the kitchen, round the clock, and the napkins now bear an embroidered oak branch and chains, the family crest. Gloria is the only one to neglect the common cause. Were it up to me, I wouldn't be seen at this hypocritical gathering, but I don't want to let Sir Robert down. He's the only reason I plan to stay for the event. The evening of the reception has come. Dignified conversations and the clinking of glasses fill the house. Among your guests are many high-born, powerful people. Your father and Stefan dance from guest to guest, making sure no one is overlooked. Young noob, how splendid to see you. So what was your time in the capital like? You exchange pleasantries with a high-placed relative. Meanwhile, Gloria and Mother spend the evening on a settee by the wall without drawing any attention. Neither your father nor your older brother introduce him to the noble guests. Still, one of the guests, a young nobleman of the sword named Jose L. Pelletier keeps staring at Gloria in fascination. Your sister averts her eyes, bemused. Lady Gloria, you're a true gem of the evening. You look so marvelously daring. I haven't seen your like ever in the capital. When you walk past Gloria, you hear in a hurried whisper, Noob, please talk to me. That Sir El Pelletier keeps following me. I feel uneasy. What does he want from me? I'm just a lowly commoner. Come with me to the other side of the room, although I'll probably still stand out among all these refined nobles. Look, it's the Brante, the painter. I wonder what he's brought with him so far from the capital. It'd be fabulous if he could paint our family portrait. We should all be on canvas together. We're one big happily family, after all. Wine glass in hand, you cast a look across the crowded room. It's time to choose how you will spend the evening. I'm supposed to share the news from the capital is what I'm supposed to do. I'm kind of interested in this, though. But it will knock my wealth down. I think I want to purchase a family portrait. The artist is scrutinizing the portrait of your grandfather on the wall of the sitting room. You'll always remember grandfather like this, his heavy searching look, his hawkish features, his imposing body, and the cane he kept in his hands at all time. As if by pure chance you pass by Durante and mention that the portrait was painted by a local artist. But surely Sir Durante's skill must be incomparably greater. Would he be interested in painting a group portrait of the entire Brante family? At first, Durante politely declines, as he must head back to the capital soon and has no time to spare for painting. But you remonstrate that you will pay any price, and his work will be seen by the high society of Amazon. Durante eventually succumbs to your persuasion. You spend the night negotiating with the painter. A proper portrait will take a fair amount of time to paint, and Durante's prices are high. Convincing your family turns out to be just as challenging. Gloria will not pose in a dress or put her hair in a bun. Nathan almost has to be forced to cut his hair. Stefan insists that he must be drawn to the right of his father, with Gloria behind them. Eventually, you succeed in helping your family reach a consensus. The portrait is perfect. Your parents look dignified, hand in hand. Stefan stands proudly at their right. You, in your best attire, are to the left of them. Gloria brings some life to the painting with her unruly hair and daring outfit. Even Nathan seems to belong there. The portrait is proudly displayed above the fireplace in the sitting room. No one else in Magra has a portrait by Durante himself. This will emphasize our position. For once, Gloria agrees with her elder brother. At least on this canvas, we're all one family, whatever our estates may be. So we spend a little money, but we spend money for the business to be profitable, so hopefully we get wealth that way. Even though we're losing a little wealth, we're in poverty. Poverty's okay, because we can gain money back at some point. We also have huge unity, and our reputation is going up. And we're becoming cleverer, and now we are silver-tongued. Oh, goody. A rock and a hard place. The Brante family home has been uneasy for several months now, with father traveling all over the province for his judicial duties. The animosity between Stefan and Gloria have grown into a full-blown feud. Your elder brother tries to use his position as heir to keep his sister in check and make her behave in accordance with her estate. Gloria repudiates his authority. Their fights rock the house on a daily basis. Eventually, after returning from his latest trip, father gathers Stefan, Gloria, Nathan, and you into his office. His somber look portends a difficult conversation. Stefan gazes at his father defiantly. Gloria is poised to lash out and run away. Nathan quietly keeps to his side. Children, for a long time now our family has been striving to become nobles of the sword. Every noble member of the Brante family will gain a hereditary title. This is your grandfather's dying wish. Gloria sighs loudly. And why am I here, Sir Robert? She's right, this is a Brante matter. Wait until I finish, Stefan. I'm still the head of this household, and if you are truly so concerned about honor, show your father some respect. It can't be helped. Not all of us are noble, but now we must be united as never before. We must work together to protect the family reputation and wealth of this family, but you, Stefan, perpetually humiliate Gloria. Father, all I'm trying to do is put her in her place. You know perfectly well the consequences of any attention Gloria might attract. Our every step is being observed. The nobles will make pariahs of our family for all eternity if they remember Gloria's filthy origins and your reckless marriage to Lydia. Father turns red in the face, but with considerable effort, he remains composed. That is so. Our grandfather did everything in his power to remedy your mistakes. Please, Father, don't repeat them. Gloria speaks up. I'm just trying to live, Sir Robert, but Stefan wants to lock me in a cage so nobody will ever lay eyes on me. That's not it at all. You are a lowborn, but you don't live by your lot. You do whatever you fancy. You're constantly grumbling about the order of things. Did you know, Father, that she defies all prohibitions by continuing to write poetry? As far as you're concerned, anyone who contradicts you is an insurgent. When will you grasp the idea that you may not argue with a nobleman? I am the heir of this family, and my word is your law. Purple with rage, father slams his fist onto the table. It's so rare to see him so furious. Both your elder brother and sister instantly fall silent, frightened. Nathan shrinks into a corner. Hold your tongues, both of you. Let Noob speak. He has witnessed your quarrels. He should know which is best. Which is right for you. Oh, what is Valona? Valona? I don't know what Valona is. I don't know where Valona is at all. Yeah. I'm gonna send her to Valona. Send her. Let her go on a trip. You take a conciliatory tone. You note that the tempers are running too high. Your siblings would benefit from spending some time apart. They need time to cool off and try to settle their differences. From what you hear, the town of Valona in the southern part of the province has an excellent resort with healing springs. What if Gloria took a vacation there for a month to improve her health and have some rest by the sea? Gloria shakes her head hesitantly. Are you trying to get rid of me, Noob, so I won't be in your way? What am I supposed to do at some twins' forsaken spa? Patiently explain to Gloria that she'll be able to enjoy some reading, find inspirations in contemplating the waves, and ponder on her future. And then when she comes back, she and Stefan will calmly discuss their issues. Finally, Gloria gives in. A trip to Valona will be costly. I'd like to know who will be the one to pay for it. Speaking first and foremost to your father, you argue that peace in the family is worth any expense. The two of you should indeed spend some time away from each other. Let it be as you suggested, Gloria. Let it be suggested. Noob. Gloria, start packing. Stefan, please send a note to Valona and hire a carriage for your sister. Gloria reluctantly heads off to the coast. This trip forces the family to spend a hefty sum. Without the constant bickering of your brother and sister, the tension at home quickly dissolves. With no need to keep an eye on Gloria, Stefan devotes himself to Anazot's social life. Gloria returns surprisingly serene after a month in Valona. Her temper has mellowed for a time. She is now engrossed in her own affairs and does not draw her brother's ire. We do not want to get the 1, but I think 2 is still okay for now. And we're leveling manipulation and eloquence each time, which is nice. The past few weeks in Anazot resemble your first years in the capital. When you and Sophia were recruiting people to join the Lotless, you were so full of hope and ambition back then. Slowly, you both begin to make useful friends and acquaintances in the city. Gendarmes, street peddlers, merchants, laborers, vagrants, and each of them requires a unique approach. The techniques you used in Eterna work here as well. You look for people you need, plan secret meetings, and make sure everything is secure. Sophia delivers one ardent speech after another, berating the Imperial Order. But so far, only a few people have stayed with you after these meetings. You have to hunt for each new member all over the city. Commoners are too afraid. Only the most desperate or insane are ready to join you. There are 2 members in particular who stand out. One is Father Fuad, a creaky old priest with fire in his eyes. He introduces himself as a commoner who has chosen the preacher's path. Does that mean he's a new believer? Fuad scoffs at the question. I'll put it this way, the only words that are true are those the twins tell you themselves, and I've heard their voice plenty. But the priests just cook up some nonsense and call it divine law. They're either crooks or fools, all of them, and Asatius is the biggest crook and fool of them all. Had he lived in any other city in the Empire, he would already have been burned at the stake for these words, but here in Anazot, Fuad freely preaches in the various taverns and squares. Moreover, the old man is well educated, so you hire him as a typesetter and even let him sleep in the storeroom. When the time comes to assemble a mob or spread some rumors, he will surely come in handy. The other is Alita Siren, who works at the print shop as a bookbinder. A quiet and innocuous young woman, she nevertheless believes in your words and your struggle with all her heart. Her innocent appearance hides an ardent will. Why would she choose to fight against the Empire? When Alita explains, you do not expect to hear cold steel in her voice. My sister was hanged in Eterna after the trial of the 50. I know I might sound like a weepy little girl, but I'm not looking for pity. I just want her murderers to hang. That's it. Sophia's speeches are always brimming with passion and sincerity. She speaks out against the injustice of the Empire and calls for people to fight with such intensity that sometimes you find yourself getting swept up by her words, nodding alongside with the rest. When she speaks, Philippe's plans and the secret chancellery disappear, replaced by a vision of a new world where justice and freedom reign. But this illusion passes every time, and when it does, the truth about your conspiracy always feels more crushing than ever. You gave all your employees a day off today. Sir Philippe Elfero is coming to Anazot. Your print shop will be the first place he will visit. Sophia stuffs tobacco into her pipe over and over, trying to look calm behind the smoke. You hear the sound of hooves and wheels on cobblestones. A carriage comes to a halt outside. A man walks past the windows and knocks at the heavy front door of his king. You open it hurriedly. Philippe is not alone. He's accompanied by a man with sinewy arms and a face of a predator. Once inside, the secret chancellery advisor slowly takes off his cloak, then inspects the premise with care. Sophia was right. Excellent choice. Well done, Brante. I had my doubts about you, but those doubts are gradually being erased. You are indeed a man of many talents. Speaking of talents, allow me to introduce you to Oliver Moss, an old friend of mine. I brought him all the way from Eterna to help you out. His skills are even more unusual than yours, Brante. It's amazing how much a person can learn to do when he's paid well. Oliver grins at Philippe's words. The toothy smile cuts through his face like a gruesome scar. You flatter me, Sir Philip, but you were right. Coin works wonders. Philippe chuckles at that. He produces a small flask from his pocket and takes a little sip. But you, Sophia, you disappoint me. I expected to see a functioning organization, but I am told what you have here is not a secret society, but a miserable rabble of the worst people in the city. Just look at this self-proclaimed priest, Fuad. We are in Anazat, this hotbed of heresy and rebellious ideas. How come you aren't able to find skillful conspirators here? I need a nice little revolt that's easy to suppress. I need a network of spies to dig up dirt on anyone who may stand in our way. Is it too much to ask? You did this job so perfectly well in Eterna. What's the matter, Sophia? Can't you do the same thing again? Sir Philippe, Brante and I are going out of our way to get more people into our ranks, but things are not looking too good for us right now. The province has a new overseer. Citizens are hopeful, they expect change, so the only people who will come to us are from the very bottom of life. This rabble is dangerous. They will ruin my plan and they will bring you and Brante to the gallows. This time I won't be able to do anything for you. Get rid of them and find conspirators who can be trusted with real work. I have too many enemies here in Anazat. The local magistrate alone is a huge thorn in my side. You have to act faster. Time is of the essence. Or maybe you have some more important things to do than serving the Empire. We're doing everything in our power, Sir Philippe. But in order to prepare your plan, we must recruit as many people as possible, and this is what we are doing. Don't try my patience, Sophia. I said get rid of the rabble, find real conspirators, carefully vet each and every one of them. Sophia lowers her head, unable to further argue with the powerful advisor. Philippe suddenly turns to you. Brante, you're the main recruiter for the society. What say you? Can you do this job for me? I think Sophia's right, man, but, yeah. I think we need to recruit more people. You take a quick look at Sophia. She nods to you faintly. You look Sir Philip straight in the eye and say firmly, Sophia is right. You cannot gather an underground movement if you disdain the support of paupers and vagabonds, or, as Sir Advisor calls them, rabble. After all, you declare, you do not need to prepare a real uprising against the government. All you need is a small riot of commoners doomed to fail, and for this purpose, those poor bastards will do. Your words of support reinvigorate Sophia. She continues to argue her case. That's my point exactly, Sir Philippe. Philippe frowns in disappointment. If you're both so confident, so be it. Recruit any fanatics or street scum you want. As long as they are helping us reach our goal, I don't care. But remember that you will pay with your lives for any mistake. None of this rabble should be aware of our true purpose. I advise you against testing my patience. You're one straw away from breaking the horse's back. Speaking of straws, I believe your secret society still needs a name, right? The last straw will do just fine. It's simple, grim, pompous. The lowborn ought to like it. Oliver, I'm leaving you in care of our rebels. Show them how real secret chancellery agents get things done. Philippe downs the last of his flask and walks out of the print shop. Sophia shares a word with you before following him. Thanks for backing me up. If we have to do Philippe's dirty work, let's do it our way at least, right? With that, Sophia waves goodbye, scowls quietly at Oliver Moss, and walks out the door. You are left alone with Oliver. The sinewy man chuckles. We're going to get along just fine, Brante. Don't you worry. Are we? Are we, though? I think that's going to do it for this episode, though, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a like. If you've got anything to say, go to the comments below. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscription button on the bell. It helps me a ton. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.